Yo, what's going on, man? Today is September the 3rd. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. We got a nice slate of WNBA games for today. Uh some uncertainty as always, because that's what the WNBA has turned into. But we'll get to the four games. There was no games on yesterday. Happy Labor Day, belated Labor Day to everyone. And we'll jump into a quick recap as we always do of the games that did take place on Sunday. So first up, with no further ado, let's just do that. I love Seattle, my favorite spread on Sunday. They ended up getting smoked to the Connecticut Sun, which they have the rematch, and we'll talk about that game today. But outside of that, that was the only loser. A'ja Wilson to go up and over her 10.5 rebounds. I think she got that to that halftime. And then I also sent out plus 350 on them to get 15 rebounds, and that was also pretty easy work. A'ja been killing and continues to kill, especially on the board. So, overall solid day. We make just under a unit and trend in the right direction on Sunday. So we'll take it and we'll keep it moving here today. As always, we go through a couple of the comments and then we'll jump into the slate for today. What up to my guy, Mark? Mark, feel like Mark always the first one in here. He says, good morning, Chat and Chris. Be ready for a great day. Hit up the like button on your way in. Appreciate that as well, Mark. Definitely hit the like button if you guys can. It helps the algorithm for sure. Good morning, Dallas. Good morning, Mitchell. Dropping Dime says, morning, everyone. Is it a stretch that A'ja might be the best player in WNBA history? I don't know, Dropping Dime. She on the trajectory for it, for sure. I think at this point, she just needs some longevity. I didn't even watch all the WNBA careers, so it's difficult for me to say right now. She's the best WNBA player I've seen, though. What up, Fahrenheit? Says, top of the morning, Chris. Like, comment, share, subscribe, become a member, and buy some merch. Shout out to my guy, Fahrenheit. Young man Travel, what's going on to you, bro? Appreciate you for tapping in. Justin in here as always. What up, G432421? It says what it is, what it do. DJ Props in here says, good morning. Seattle gets their revenge today and get it at plus money. Okay, that's where we're gonna start at. We'll get there in a second. What up to my guy Peasy? And Justin says Maya Moore was the best WNBA player of all times, and I've heard really good things about Maya Moore. I never watched any of her games, but seen some highlights for sure. All right, no further ado, let's jump into the games. First one we got on the board is the Connecticut Sun. They will be, let me just make sure I got the injury report up. Connecticut Sun will be at the crib again. Same team, same venue, same everything. The only difference is now the Connecticut Sun are at equal rest with the Seattle Storm. Remember, when they played on Sunday, they were at a rest disadvantage because they also played on Saturday and were able to take care of Washington, came home, was able to take care of Seattle, and now equal rest for both teams. So both 1 day's rest. Storm in the middle of a 2-game road trip. They got the Liberty up on deck next. And you can see the numbers, man. It has not looked really, really good for Seattle. I know, the revenge angle for Seattle. Somebody, I think DJ Prop said it in the chat. I can't quite get there with the Storm and the revenge angle. Should they? Yeah. But I'm tired of catching the fall of knife with the Storm, man. You go back and look at this team. I've been on the wrong side of them a couple times because they've been a pretty good team. The Storm have, but not recently. They failed to cover 7 straight road games going back to before the All-Star break. So to me, it kind of feels like if I'm back in the Storm, I'm trying to catch that falling knife, and that's not something that I'm willing to do. I also looked at the Storm this season when they are in revenge spots, and it hasn't been well. 3-4 straight up, 2-5 against the number. So the Storm are not doing well. Remember at the beginning of the season, they played the Lynx. In back-to-back games, they lost both. They played the Sky, got the revenge against the Sky. Played the Aces, ended up losing that game to the Aces. Played the Lynx. They finally beat the Lynx. And that was the game without Nafisha Collier. And then they also lost. They beat the Dream but didn't cover. And then they lost to the Liberty as well. So this is not a team that I want to lay, that I'm feel comfortable betting right now. And when I looked a little deeper into it, because, I'm watching the game on Sunday and I'm looking at that game. And for me, the reason why I don't want to get back with the Storm, and not to say that the Storm can't come out here and win and cover the game. The reason why I don't want to do it, though, is because I saw enough of what the Storm can't do. And they can't shoot the ball from the three-point line. You look at their offense, they're the worst three-point shooting team in the WNBA. And it gets worse on the road. Seattle is really, really poor. And in my opinion, if you can't beat Connecticut from the perimeter, if you don't have people to knock down those outside shots, it's going to be really difficult to win because their interior defense is pretty good. The other thing with the Sky is they just give up a bunch of points in the paint. I mean, the Storm is they give up a bunch of points in the paint. It was like candy the other day. Watching Connecticut's offense just get a ball to Bree Jones over and over and over again, and seeing Coach Noel Quinn not make any adjustments towards that at all. I really want to get there with the under in the game. I think Connecticut offense played a little over his head. I don't think Bree Jones has that dominant of a game, but I mean, size-wise, she has so much more size than Ezzy, who's a really good interior defender in my opinion. But yeah, I can't quite get there, man. I cannot quite get there with the Storm. Much as I want to take the revenge spot, I can't do it. The defense, like I said, has not been really good lately. In there, like I said, just giving up a ton of points in the paint. They've also turned into a really poor rebounding team. They're the worst offensive rebounding team, the second worst defensive rebounding team, the worst rebounding team over the last 5 games. They also, like I said, they just can't shoot. Effective field goal percentage is 11. So I'll be looking towards, I hate to say it, I'll be looking towards Connecticut. I do feel like they can win the game. Do they cover? I'm not sure, but I don't think the Storm. And the other thing about Connecticut, just really quickly, is they take care of home. Like, this is I think the second best home team in the WNBA, third best home team in the WNBA. So yeah, I will be looking towards the Sun. They are 13-3 straight up. Only 6-10 against the number, but 13-3 straight up. The offenses looked a lot better. So those are my thoughts. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. What up, JFX? Dante says good morning, Les Cash. Helm says under 160. That's what I want to play, the under, Helms. I really, really do. I think Seattle's defense just has to be a little bit better from the perimeter. But if I had to look on the game, that's the way I would play it. It would be under 160. I think that game going over the other day is not indicative of how good the Storm's defense has been. And plus, you can't trust them to score. Like I said, the Sun averaged 5.3 made three. I'm sorry, the Storm averaged 5.3 made threes on the season. In last 5 games, they're making 4, which is the worst in the WNBA. So they're not scoring at the rim, which you see Connecticut pack the paint. I think it's an under game. I'm right here with Helms for sure. Not trusting revenge spot here, but don't let me talk you off of it. It's third game in 4 nights for the Sun. Yeah, I did see that prestigious prize. Yeah, don't mean as much to me. What up to my guy Fred? Young Man Travel says, got to go with Connecticut. It's just a bad matchup spot for the Storm, especially on the road. The Storm have not been good on the road, man. Like I said, I think they failed to cover 9 straight games, but the last 7 have been on the road. Mark says Sun -3.5. Looking at the under. I like the under a little bit more. Good morning, Sarah. Ball Talk says hard. Had to put my money on Seattle last game. It's hard to put my money on the roster, but when you're watching them play, you realize there's no one consistently. There's no one consistently depend on Sun -3.5 here. DJ Prop says Storm are 7-1 playing on Tuesdays, but also like the under. Connecticut 4-1 to the under on Tuesdays. Helm says, bruh. What up, she? Justin says, I'll be back. Got to put my daughter on the bus. Wings -4.5 put in his pocket. Okay. We'll talk about that. Looking through their schedule, the second back-to-back game shows under for Seattle. And Chad says it's Storms, guys. What's up? Yeah, I don't think that means he's riding with the Storm. Clarify that, Chad. What does that mean? Ken says, what's good? C, new to the show. First time catching you live, brother. Love the info. You got to keep up the good work. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that for sure. Jay Holiday says Sun under might be a good look. What about Storm team total under? I like the full game under. Brad says he likes the Storm. Maybe get some revenge here. Not anything that I absolutely love. Let's go to the next one. We got the Mystics and the Wings. Line open, I think 3.5 is what I saw yesterday. And I saw it quickly move up to 4.5, and now it's settled at 5. And I was, doing my due diligence yesterday, looking at the injury report. This total also opened by 170.5. 170 is up to 172. So money coming in on the Wings, money coming in on the over. And I was doing my due diligence yesterday checking the Mystics beat reporter because I really wanted to get on this game early. And Shakira Austin didn't practice, so I knew she wasn't going to play. But I also knew I couldn't lay points with the Wings. So that's what it really came down to for me. You take a look at the spot here, the Mystics second, let me get this comment off the screen. Mystics 2 days rest, first of a 2-game road trip for them. They do play in Phoenix on Thursday. And they've done well covering these numbers on the road. You can see that they're 11-5 against the spread. But with no Shakira Austin there, it's going to be difficult for them to get stops. I just can't trust. I can trust the Wings to score. Remember, I said my top play in that Wings game versus the Indiana Fever on Sunday was Wings team total up and over 89.5. Didn't put $1 on it, but it was a winner. So I can trust the Wings to score. What I can't trust is anything about the Mystics. The Mystics have looked like night and day themselves. They were the number one defensive rated team, and they still are based on the numbers. These are updated numbers. But offensively, they're 11th in offensive rating over the last 5 games. Number one in defensive rating, so it pans them out about 7th. And the Wings have looked good, man. Satu Sabli is playing, out of her mind. Enrique's coming off a game where she hit, WNBA record, tying 9 threes, I think it was. And you got the Wings' fifth game of a 5-game homestand. So, yeah, I mean, this could be a good spot for them. I can't lay points with them, though. The defense is just not good enough. They still 12th rated defense. They just gave up 100 points to the Indiana Fever. They should have a big matchup advantage here on the interior with no Shakira Austin. Feels like Freaky T should be able to do whatever it is that she wants. Kalani Brown should be able to do whatever it is that she wants inside. But I still think the Mystics can keep this game close. The Mystics did beat the Wings twice earlier this season before they were at full strength. But I'm just not into laying points with the Wings. That's not something that I'm doing. If you go back and look at the last thing I'll mention, if you go back and look at the Wings, they've been a home favorite. They haven't covered as a home favorite since the first game of the season, May 15th. That's almost 4 months ago. They covered against the Sky. Outside of that, 4 straight non-covers as home favorites, so they're 1-4 against the spread as a home favorite. I'm just not laying points with the Wings, especially after you see them crumble against the Indiana Fever in a game that they probably should have won. So those are my thoughts on this one, man. I figure out like a player prop that I like, but I couldn't quite get there on anything. I do feel like the Wings win the game. I'm not sure if it's going to be by 2 spreads, by two buckets though. Let's see. Chad says, "Oh, he is on the Storm." Okay, yeah. Chad catching that falling knife with the Storm. I'm not. I'm staying far away from the Storm. Sun, much better team right now than the Storm. It's not even close. Me and Chad definitely disagree on this one. Gabby Williams will get it together sooner or later, though. She looks like a shell of herself from what we saw in the Olympics, though. It looked like she was playing against little girls in the Olympics. Now she's playing with grown women, and she does not look the same. And like I said, the Storm can't score the basketball consistently enough. If it's not just NECA, Joe Lloyd, they play worse on the road. So yeah, me and Chad on the opposite side. But I didn't bet the Sky. I didn't bet the Sun either. It's just Sun or nothing for me. But I do like the under a little bit more. What up, D Jones? Mitchell says Mystics Wings pass. Yeah, I'm pass too. Wings are pass. She says laying points with the Wings is messy work. Dante says right there with you. Nick says Wings cover today. Chad says it's pass or pass. DJ Prop says ladder inside 2 threes at 3 and 4, and a Pringle and some Pringles. I guess that's Pringles on 5. Okay. And a sprinkle on 5 is what he means. Okay, I thought it's Pringle money. Helm says game feels trappy. Young Man Travel says I like the over. Also going to the well with Washington first half. Washington first half could be the look. Dallas has not started the games off super hot. I will say recently, I think they covered the first half spread against Indiana. They covered the first half spread against the Minnesota Lynx as well. So back-to-back covers in the first half for Washington Mystics. The Wings, they had the lead in both of those games. Good morning, Kristen. Tierra McCowan double dropping down says plus 300. Dirty Rig says Storm more like a falling machete. Yeah, it's tough right now, man. I'll trust them, but it's probably back at the crib. They just can't cover. They can't win. Defense is terrible. Offense is terrible too. Jabba says Mystics might be in tank mode now, with Shakira probably out for the rest of the season. Brittany Sykes has a good matchup, but her minutes is iffy, but can easily get to 20. It could be, if that's the case. And real quick, just let's look at the Dallas Wings defense. I feel like they've been giving it up from 3. I could be wrong. Ariel Atkins stands out to me. Wings have been the worst mid-range team in the last 5 games, allowing teams to shoot 46%. Above the break 3 defense hasn't been too bad. 7, allowing teams to shoot about 33% from the 3. And without Shakira Austin, I just kind of feel like the Mystics going to still play fast, get up and down the floor. So, yeah, I could see Ariel Atkins having a big game. If I had to play the game, it would probably be a player prop. Jay Holiday says game total over in Wings. Mystics team total over 83.5. I like to get behind that mark. I could definitely get behind that. The Wings, last 5 games, their opponents are averaging 91 points per game, which is the most in the WNBA. They also have the worst defensive rating at 110.4. They're allowing teams to shoot the highest effective field goal percentage, and they're fouling the most. So Mystics team total over is that's solid. I like that. I actually like that a lot. I could get behind that. I think that's the first thing I'm gonna write on my short list. Washington team total over 83.5. Who are the Wings stopping from getting to 83 points? Let's just look at it real quick. Since the Olympic break, the Wings have held the Liberty to 79, and they held the Lynx to 76. Sun got 109 up against them. Liberty got 94 up against them. Sparks got 110. Aces got 90. And Fever got 100. This defense is astronomically bad. It's bad. I like that, Mark. I like that a lot. Wings over, Ken says. Satu is better on right now. Either better on or stay off of Satu. She's cooking. And she has a pretty good matchup. I'm not sure who they're going to put on her, but nobody on the Mystics can guard her, in my opinion. Helm says, I can't trust the Mystics to score without Austin and Sykes. What up, Cup of Joe? Marquis says he likes that as well. She says he likes that as well. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, especially if we're expecting a fast-paced game. All right, let's move it on over to game number 3. We got the Sky and the Aces. I think this line moved to 12. I think the line should be 12. And the total, I think, is accurate. Let me just double check it real quick and make sure, because I do kind of like the total in this game if I like anything. I like the spread too, but I like the total. Let me just double check it really, really quickly and see what we got as far as the consensus for the total in this game. So it is 11.5, 12, depending on where you're shopping, as far as point spread. As far as total, it is 165.5. So money coming in on the over. 165. You can get a 164 as well, which I feel like all Aces games end up going up and over. So let's jump into this one. We got a Sky team coming off 1 day's rest. Let's just say days. One day's rest, last of a 2-game road trip, and they got a game with the Sparks on Thursday, I think, in Chicago. Sky just played the Lynx really, really tough on Sunday. Almost won that game, even without Kennedy Carter. And then you got the Lynx, you got the Aces on the opposite side. 1 day's rest for them, standalone home game before they start an East Coast trip. They play in Connecticut, then they play the Liberty as well. So they got some tough games coming up on deck. Injury report for this one, definitely got to mention that Kennedy Carter is still on the injury report. She is listed as questionable with COVID. Not sure if she's ever going to play. I think she's missed the last 3 games, and they continue to list her as questionable. But Rachel Brandon also on the injury report. She is listed as questionable with a shoulder injury that was reported yesterday as well. So both of those players on the injury report. Chelsea Gray did go down in that last game against Phoenix the other day, but she is not on the injury report, so she'll at least be available to play. This one is fairly simple to me. It's Chicago or nothing. That's the only way I'm looking. I like the plus 12. I have not played it yet, but the Aces struggle with the matchup of the Chicago Sky. And if Kennedy Carter's ruled in, you get a great number. You expect her to, maybe be a little sluggish, but I'm not in the business of laying 12 points. I know that the Aces are coming off an absolute smackdown of the Phoenix Mercury, but that's the type of team that they thrive against, teams that can't rebound the basketball. And, they were locked in for that game. I don't think they'll be as locked in for this game. And I think Chicago, Coach Teresa Weatherspoon will keep her ladies, locked in. The Chicago Sky also got to mention injury report. Got to mention standings here. The Chicago Sky lost that game, and they've lost 6 straight games. I think it is now. 7 of their last 8 since the Olympic break, and they are now tied. So not that they're gonna win this game, but they are now tied with the Atlanta Dream, which we'll talk about in just a second, at 11-21. They do own the tiebreaker over the Atlanta Dream, so they are literally a half a game, I guess you could say, in front of the Atlanta Dream. And they do play coming up. The Dream and the Sky do play coming up very, very soon. I think it might be this week, if not this week, next week. So Chicago needs every single game that they can get with them, on a current 6-game losing streak. And like I said, only won one of their games since the Olympic break. So they'll be motivated in this spot, in my opinion. And that's the way I'm looking at this one. I think Aces just struggle with size. They really, really struggle with size. And that's what the Chicago Sky have. A lot of size, a lot of rebounding. And could slow down Asia a little bit. None of the guards are really playing great. Jackie Young did look really good the other day, but outside of her, none of the guards are really playing great for the Aces. I'm not laying 12 with the Aces quite yet. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Helm says Sky plus 12, so same thought trajectory there. Jalen says Asia and Tina Charles over their rebounds. Yeah, I think we haven't talked about Tina Charles yet, but I like Tina Charles points plus rebounds. I think it's 25.5 was the number I looked at last night. We'll talk about that game with the Mercury in just a second. She says, yep, I like the Sky to cover. Sky plus 12.5, Mark says. Aces win, but don't cover many. And if you look at the Aces, just really quickly to put some numbers behind that. Aces as double-digit home favorites. 8-2 straight up, 5-5 against the number. They failed to cover 2 of their last 3. One of those was a loss to the Sky outright. Of course, that was when they had Marina Mabry, though. And the biggest thing is just the Sky. Sky as double-digit road dogs, 3-2 straight up, 5-0 against the number. They've covered every single game as a double-digit dog this season. So yeah, it's Sky for me. This the spot that you want the Sky in. Fahrenheit says he likes Freaky Tiki 8+ Freaky. I keep calling it Tiki. Freaky T, Tierra McCowan, 8+ rebounds at -142 on FanDuel, 8-11, 17-11, 11 rebounds last 5. Washington allows the 3rd most defensive rebounds. Okay. DJ Prop says, give me the Sky first quarter plus 3.5. Has covered each game versus the Aces. And we know from eye test that Chicago plays well early and folds in the second half. I couldn't talk you off of that. The Aces also don't cover first quarters outside of that last one where they were winning like 29-10. Asia nice to watch. She's hooping, Mark says. I agree with that. Fahrenheit likes Asia rebounds at 12 plus. So -145 on FanDuel is covered. Still like it. 16-17 rebounds last 2, 14-18 rebounds last 2 versus Chicago. Chicago allows the 3rd most rebounds. Defensive rebounds, they can struggle to grab sometimes, but offensive rebounds, they lead the league in. Chad says, no way I'm touching the Sky. They can't score. Yeah, they struggle to score, but they'll show up defensively, in my opinion. At least to keep it within 5-6 possessions. Aces just signed Queen Egbo. Did they? I didn't see that. I did not see that. Where was I at? They could use Queen Egbo. She probably gonna play in the game tonight. Dang. Okay. Yeah, that's great for them. They need another Somebody else that can outside of Asia. She said, yeah, she gets a double double at the minimum. Dirty Rig, not laying 12 either. Another game that Jazz said he's staying far away from. Dropping dimes like Asia over 12.5 for plus money. Need Carter and Adonis says Chicago has been a scrappy team though. If Chicago can cover against Minnesota in Minnesota, I think they can cover it in Vegas against Vegas, and they've already did this. But Marina maybe was a part of the team still. Chad says, "Wow, so much love, so much Sky love." I think it's honestly just a fate of the Aces, honestly. But if Kennedy Carter is in, absolutely. And Egbo, yeah, she'll help on the rebounds for sure. So some slight disagreement there, but yeah, I'm looking at Sky plus the points is the only way that I'm looking in this game, and I have not made the play yet. Was actually just wanting to see what happened with Kennedy Carter, but I like it either way. Couldn't talk anybody off waiting for the injury report, which is what I typically do. All right, last game on the board that we got for today is the Atlanta Dream and the Phoenix Mercury. This game will be played in Phoenix. I didn't update this line. Phoenix was catching a point yesterday before the news came out about the technicals. So real quick, injury report / just what's actually going on in this game. On the Atlanta side, Cheyenne Parker-Tyus looks like she's a game time decision. She didn't play in the game on Sunday. And Ariel Powers also just has continued to be out with that calf injury. On the Phoenix side, Natasha Cloud and Diana Taurasi both picked up their 7th technical foul in that loss the other day and on Sunday to the Las Vegas Aces. So they both got suspended for a game, but Diana Taurasi's technical foul was rescinded. So only Natasha Cloud will be suspended for this game, and she'll be back on Thursday when they play the Washington Mystics when they come to town. They still will be without Rebecca Allen as well. So you get into the spot here, looking at Atlanta, the last of both teams 1 day's rest, last of a 4-game road trip here for the Dream, and 4th of a 5th-game homestand for the Mercury. So you got one team that's been traveling all over the place, losing, but they did smack the Sparks. I'm talking about they beat the brakes off the Sparks before the game. Like, it was over with early. Tina Charles came out. She dominated the first quarter. I think she had 18 points at halftime. And you could just tell that Atlanta was not going to take the Sparks lightly. And you see the numbers here. I mentioned the Dream being tied with the Chicago Sky. Chicago Sky owning the tiebreaker for the last spot in the Eastern in the playoff picture for that last seed. And then you got the Mercury. This team is also a falling knife. Look at their offensive rating in the last 5 games. The worst offensive rated team, defensive, 10th. So they're not stopping anybody, not scoring, and the worst net rated team over the last 5 games as well. If you look at in the middle where it says H for home, their seasonal record, they're 9-7 straight up, 9-7 against the spread at the crib. They've actually failed to cover, I think, 4 straight games at the crib. This was 9-3. So they've been terrible. We know that outside of the loss to the Aces, they did also lose to really good teams. They lost to the Lynx, then they lost to the Liberty, if you're going back in order. I feel like they can beat the Dream, man. I do kind of feel like they can beat the Dream. The Dream, not a team that you really want to bet against right now. And I don't like it because Natasha Cloud's not there, but I just look at who the Mercury have been playing lately. I think that they beat the Dream. This will be, they just played. This will be the 3rd matchup since the Olympic break. They went to Atlanta. They lost the first one. Stayed in Atlanta, and they got a big win. And that was Brittany Griner's game. Brittany Griner went off in that game. Pretty sure Nate Tibbetts is going to try to utilize her a lot in the paint against an Atlanta team that's going to really struggle. The Tina Charles is going to go at BG, but I think BG goes right back at Tina Charles in this game as well. The Mercury going to need somebody to step up with Natasha Cloud not being there as well. That's a dog, in the defensive end, and somebody that definitely runs their offense as well. So really, really difficult game to bet. I feel like this one could sneak up and over the total, even though the Dream have not been the greatest offense. I just feel like the Mercury going to try to play a little bit faster. This total is up. It's up to 160, 160 and a half, depending on where you're shopping. And the line has also flipped. The line is now the Mercury are laying 1.5 on most books. I see two on some books as well. It just feels like a bounce back spot for the Mercury. I don't really want to catch the falling knife, but I think if I'm playing the game, I am taking the Mercury at the crib. They need a confidence boost and win. And this is one that they could absolutely get here, in my opinion. Now, I did mention I like Tina Charles. Her points plus rebounds is 15 and a half. And I also just talked about how good of a game she had. In that last game on Sunday, she missed the game before when they played the Aces for personal reasons, and she came back. She looked super fresh in that last game. She ended up finishing the game with 23 points, 10 rebounds. So she cleared the line of 24 and a half, 25 and a half, whatever her points plus rebounds is. Shot 11 for 17 from the floor. And she's just been on a tear, man. She's up and over the number. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. So yeah, I like Tina Charles. And two of the games came against Phoenix as well. She had 13 rebounds and 17 rebounds in those two games. We always talk about Phoenix being one of the worst rebounding teams in the WNBA. I like Tina Charles, man. I like her up and over her points plus rebounds at 23 and a half. That way, I'm not really focused on what she, is doing there between the two, because she can get there either way. I think the number is 25 and a half points plus rebounds for Tina Charles. I know I said a lot, so let's go through the comments real quick and see what you guys are thinking. Chad says, maybe live. I can get aces at a decent number, but staying off right now pre-game. Ken like Sky first half. White T Wilson is a baller. Ball talk. I'm interested to see if she I read that article that came out. I forgot what the young lady's name was that writes the articles, but she was talking about Asia numbers with a white T on, and why Asia wears the white T, and how her mom and dad been telling her she need to iron it, and she like, nah, just white T until we get to where she want to go to. I think that just shows her leadership. But yeah, Asia has been cooking, man. Cardoso gonna have her hands full for sure. Chad likes the dream. Says dream. Drop it down. Says feel like the wrong team is favorite. Okay. Helm says wrong team favorites as well. So a lot of people liking the dream here. Young Man Travel says give me the home team. Atlanta Shouty. No bias. Phoenix is in a slump. Yeah, so they're not the home team. They're the road team, Young Man Travel. But I understand what you mean. Chad says without Natasha Cloud and Allen, probably best two defenders. Who is on Howard in Canada? Yeah. I mean, you got Diana Taurasi out there. She can't guard anybody. Okay. Mark says thinking Dream, but need help getting there. I need help getting there too, man. Dream did play really, really well in that last game, and I do kind of feel like it's a toss-up of a game. I kind of do, man. Fahrenheit likes Tina Charles rebounds 11 plus at 105. I would be tailing. I like this a lot. Dream only thing I've bet so far will be on Storm, but this slate sucks. Stay away for Adonis. He says the market's been so wrong. I could care less about the lines moving right now, and I would agree with that. You got to play what you like. Stay away from the markets for sure. She says, like that, Chris. I'm on the Mercury money line, Jalen says. Tina Charles rebounds for dropping dimes. I like the Dream and Alicia Gray 20 points. Alicia Gray been hooping. She been absolutely balling. DJ Prop says, I'll take Tina Charles double-double on FanDuel. Go Bear sister. Can't jump and compete with talking about Brittany Griner with Tina on the rebounds. And Dream have played very well last 5 games. They absolutely have. I just kind of feel like I would like the Dream a little bit more if this wasn't the last of a 4-game road trip, and this wasn't the 5th of a 5-game homestand here for the Mercury. The Mercury eventually going to get it together, in my opinion, but we'll see, man. We shall see. Marquis says Dream ascending, Mercury descending. They are definitely going opposite directions here. TC Bet says Alicia Gray over 17 points, cashed all 3 games this season in the head-to-head matchup. So, okay, well, let me talk you off of it. Sounds like something that you like. I don't like the game enough to bet it, but if I bet it, I think I would ride with the Mercury. But it's difficult. It's a difficult game for sure. So let's get into a quick recap. As far as the game for tomorrow, we got the Sparks and the Fever. I looked into that game already. The Fever laying 12 points. 12 points as a home favorite against the Sparks. I'm going to find some way to get on the Sparks tomorrow. I can't lay 12 with the Fever. The Fever have looked great. Probably second, third best team in the WNBA right now. I can't lay 12 with the Fever, though. And that total continues to go up. That's the only way that I would look. I do think that Sparks offense probably going to play. They're playing at the fastest pace. And the Fever also playing just fast as well. I think Aaliyah Boston has a big game, the same way Tina Charles did in the last one. So just a preview of that game. Fever Sparks tomorrow. I like the over and I like the Sparks. And I love Aaliyah Boston tomorrow. All right, let's get into a quick recap, just real quick, as I talk that one out with you guys, or kind of share some preliminary thoughts. Top looks for myself. And shout out to my guy Mark, man. That's why we capped the games together. That Washington team total over sounds really good. I don't think I need to look into it too much more, but I haven't bet it yet, so that's why it's on the short list. I haven't bet any of these. I do like Chicago plus the points today, especially if Kennedy Carter gets rolled in late. And Tina Charles over her 25.5 points plus rebounds. Probably my favorite look on the whole board for today. These player props been doing us well recently. Hopefully we can keep that going. I'm going to also add Seattle and Connecticut under. Let's see what the best number I can get real quick. Shout out to Helms for pointing this one out in the chat, but this is exactly how I was looking at this game as well. I think it's just going to be played a little bit slower. You can get 160. Let's see. You can get a 160. Yeah, you can get a couple 160s. Bet365 and Caesars both have 160. So we'll go Seattle, Connecticut under 160. Maybe even potential first half under. Washington team total over 83.5 against the Dallas Wings. Chicago plus the 12 if I had to bet it. And Tina Charles. I'm going to make 2 or 3 plays today probably. Because what I've found is that I've come on here, had a short list of 3 or 4 plays, make one that be the only one that lose, and the rest of them be winners. So I'll, probably dial back the unit size. I'm not betting WNBA heavy right now anyway, just because of the inconsistencies. But I'm probably gonna make 2 or 3 of these plays today, man. So I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Hopefully the show was helpful for you guys. Resources, as always, that I use to handicap the games are here. Definitely check out OzGym, and the referral code is CBC for 20% off your first month if you're interested. Same thing with Moneyballer. Only difference is Moneyballer giving you 50% off your first billing cycle using code ChrisBeCappinn, as you see it right there with 2 P's and 2 N's. One-stop shop, man, for even NFL. That's right around the corner. And so definitely check it out. Give me the dog, Killer Sports, and Cleaning the Glass on here as well. Best of luck to you guys today, man. Hopefully we can all get some cash for whatever it is that we bet. If you're still watching the show, like I said, hit the like button for me. Share the show, subscribe. Let me know what you guys are betting as well. Link for all my official plays in the description as it always is. And we'll catch you guys in the next one, man.